Lizzy,
Yes.
you are back at PFL Europe again.
Yes,
First,
finally. Felt like ages.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's interesting because of the first time you were in the tournament and you were eliminated in the first round of the first a fight that was so close. Like a lot of people
Yeah.
thought you won, so it must have been super frustrating because they brought you back to fight Chanel Dyer as a showcase bout
Yeah.
to show confidence in you.
Yeah.
Then you got injured, you broke your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't my year. No, it wasn't. It wasn't my year, I guess, because it was the first time I lost, and then of course I had the injury. I needed surgery, and I felt like everything in that year went wrong. What could went wrong. So it didn't feel like quite of my year.
And how's it? Has it been more difficult to get back physically or mentally? What's the worst?
Well, we had some physical problems because I had an iron plate in it and 8 bricks. So when I was like done with the surgery, I had no rotation anymore in my wrist. And that's a problem if you want to punch someone. So that was something I didn't expect to have. And it took like longer than we wanted to. So, and I think that there is where it starts mentally as well, because in the first place you start telling yourself, "Oh, it's only a surgery, and you will be back in like few months," and then it happens that the surgery brings more complications than the healing does.
Yeah.
So and then the mental game starts, then you feel like how much longer is it gonna take? When can I fight again? Is PFL willing to take me back?
I guess that is the question, right? Because it's the one big like new European league that everybody wants to be a part of,
Yeah.
but it's like one mistake and it could be over, right? Because
Yeah.
there's so many people to choose from. So how do you feel about this? Like, what does it tell you, the fact that they still brought you back?
Yeah, so I knew that I was like fit to fight like around the beginning of March. So it was only like a short amount of time. And then they said, okay, we're going to start with the PFL tournament. And we asked the PFL if it was okay to have a showcase bout outside of the tournament, to get like a little more being comfortable in my own
Yeah,
body
like,
and with my injury again. So I fought in March, and then I had a really good fight against D, which is also in the tournament, and I really had to fight for my life for 3 rounds, 5 minutes. But I think that was what I needed, because I know that if it was a quick win, I would still have doubted my own body. But because I fought like 3 rounds, 5 minutes, I got kicked, we scrambled, so I really knew, okay, my body is good to go, you know?
You know, it can last.
Yes.
Did you
Yeah.
know that she was going to be in the tournament then, or no?
No, so that was the thing, that because we also had a catch weight at the time. So for me that was like slowly getting the weight down until 125. So we had a catch weight, and I didn't know it yet. Only like a few weeks after, when I got my poster, it said like recently win over D Backley. And I was like, why is that interesting to put it on a poster?
The name of the
And they announced me before her. So I was like, that's not interesting for people to know.
Yeah.
And then she got announced, and I was like, that's why you put it on a poster. She will be in the tournament with me. So yeah.
Yeah, and at the same time, your first opponent was going to be Sammy-Jo Luxton.
Yeah.
And she's very popular, and like they were putting her on the posters and everything. So on the one hand, like it was a good matchup because you can make a good name for yourself.
Yeah.
But now she pulled out. She had medical issues.
Yeah.
And how long notice did you get for the new opponent?
It was only this Tuesday that I heard that I had a new opponent. It was last Friday that I heard that Sammy pulled out. But we heard that there was medical issues and that it's pretty serious. So when you hear something, you really wish the person the best, and you hope that they will recover soon, because it's something you don't wish to anyone, So when we heard that it was like serious, I was like right away like okay with it. The first reaction is always like, what? Why she
Why
pulled
me
out?
again?
But it was, I did the same thing to Chanel last year. It was also like a short
Like, okay, let
notice.
me
So
be humble.
so when I heard what was going on, I felt very sorry for her. And then, the question marks start. Who's gonna step in? And that was just only a close deal just last Thursday, just 2 days before.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
'Cause we see that like the 2 days before, but I wonder sometimes how far before, like
No,
Yeah.
it was like very short.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very short. But it's okay, and I'm very glad I have someone to fight because, it felt like a very long way where I came from and where I am now. And I did like everything mentally and physically to become the best version of me. And I felt like this is it. At this point, there's not something that I could have done differently to become an even more version of me,
Yeah.
even more better version of me. So I was like, this is it. I don't care who they put in front of me in that cage. I just need to step in that cage.
And I see a silver lining. It's because your new opponent Karolina is the former strawweight champion at Invicta.
Yeah.
And so she's coming up to flyweight. So how do you feel like you match up with her? And then, especially after you saw her in person today and faced off with her, what are your feelings?
Well, of course, I knew that she was like a much more experienced fighter than Sammy-Jo was. So the switch was like enormous, like going from someone 2-0 to someone who had like almost 20 pro fights. So that's a difference. They are used to get in the cage and they are used to fight. And she's also the personality who loves to brawl and fight. So that was kind of a switch, but right away we felt that it's a good matchup, because I am someone who is also like comfortable. My career is not that long, but I feel comfortable in that cage, and I saw this as a very good challenge to, see where am I.
Yeah.
And today I saw her, and yeah, of course, I am a big flyweight, I guess, and then you face someone who is normally a strawweight. Yeah, there's a height difference, and the question is like, how can you take advantage of that height difference? And I think I struggled a little bit last year with Valentina, the height difference, because I was like, how gonna. It's just different, but I think I learned from that fight, and I'm ready to show what I learned.
And I think Valentina, like already, she cuts a lot of weight to get to
Yeah.
flyweight. So she's like a thick, stockier like flyweight.
Yeah.
it's a
She's much
different
more
build.
bulkier. Yeah, she's a very muscular woman. I don't think that Karolina had to cut so much, that she was like almost there when she arrived. So I think that will be different because she will feel that I am a flyweight, so I gain my weight after making weight. Yeah.
For sure. And so what are you thinking about, like, as far as, have you thought about what your thought process is going to be, what your preparation is going to be like after this fight? Like already anticipating a win, or?
Yeah, of course. I think that going into the tournament this year, I really felt that it could be my year. Like the tables turned. It's totally different year from what it was last year. And this year, in the interview, I told them like last year, I felt like a visitor. It was the first time in PFL. You don't know the people. You don't know what they expect from you. And I felt a little bit like a visitor. And this time, it feels totally different. I feel I belong here, and this is my stage. And not much happened in a year, like if you career-wise. But mentally, that's a lot.
You grew a lot. You
Yes.
experienced so many things in that
Yeah.
year, yeah. And you fought before this, like the tune-up fight,
Yeah.
against someone who's in the tournament. So
Yeah.
you're gonna be feeling good about that.
Yeah, I feel good about that, and I'm like really excited actually to be back in the smart cage of the PFL and show the world what I have been working on for a year.
Do you get nervous before, or like at what point is it like? Do you get nervous? What point do you flip the switch?
Well, I'm always pretty relaxed, as you could see today. I'm always smiling and like really enjoying. Like even after the face off, the people from PFL asking me like, "You seem so friendly and so happy all the time." But the thing is, I don't need hate to put on violence in the cage. I love what I do, and I do it like, I feel very blessed to be back here, and I love what I do. And as soon as that cage goes in that lock, the beast will come out. That's just how I am naturally, how I am, and I am violent, and I like to fight violent, and I don't need to hate a person for that.
You seem very similar to someone who is here to see you.
Yes.
Who's Jermaine Rondami.
Yes.
And she, is she in your corner or just?
Yes.
Then
No, she will be in my corner. Yes.
That's smart. What does that add to you? What's the biggest significance that she brings to this camp?
Well, of course, she taught me this way. Love what you're doing, and even in hard parts, cutting the weight or training all the time, it's a choice. We choose this life. So don't play a victim if you are losing the weight. No, you choose to be a fighter. So, and you know what comes along with it. So, and she taught me this. So I'm always like, even when I cut the weight, yeah, it's heavy, but it doesn't add more heaviness if I'm like, oh, I am so heavy, and oh, I need to lie her down, and I'm crying, and it doesn't make sense. Smile, you want to be here, enjoy the ride.
Yeah, it's like it's gonna happen anyway. So you can have a positive attitude or a negative attitude, and if you have a negative attitude, things are just worse.
Yes.
So you might as well add some positivity.
Yeah, and as soon as that ref is gonna ask you, are you ready? Are you ready? And he's gonna say fight, you have to fight, and this is the thing, we are fighters. If I wasn't a fighter, I wouldn't be on this stage. So I know when that referee is saying fight, my inner beast can come out and fight. Yeah, so.
Well, good luck. I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of fiery bouts tomorrow.
Yeah, it's
gonna
an
be
awesome
one of
card. Yeah.
I love it.
Yes.
Thanks. Good luck, Lizzy. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Yes.